The S22 Ultra is finally here, and this phone is just insane. It comes with basically every feature that you can think of and then some, plus it has the highest end specs on a phone today. Our review units are on the way, so until then, I want to go over the 5 main things to look for when it comes to upgrading. And then more importantly, I want to put it side by side against the iPhone 13 Pro Max and give you all the details so that you can decide which one is the better option for you. The first thing that you should be aware of is that the cameras are very different. The iPhone's main camera is a more traditional 12 megapixel sensor, whereas Samsung is using their 3rd generation 108 megapixel sensor here. But this doesn't necessarily mean that it's better, only that it has a higher resolution. The lower resolution on the iPhone means that it can capture more light. At the same time, Samsung has also made some serious advancements here, mostly thanks to AI processing. You'll have to wait until our camera comparison to see which one is truly better in low light, but one thing's for sure here, if you do want to take some crazy high-resolution photos, only the S22 Ultra will be able to do that. The S22 Ultra can also shoot 8K video at 30 frames per second, whereas the iPhone is limited to 4K 60. However, from my experience with the S21 Ultra, 8K video was quite noisy and the dynamic range was extremely poor, so I never ended up using it. The iPhone supports ProRes video, which gives you an outstanding level of quality, but it does take up a ton of space. And since the iPhone does not support USB Type-C, it takes forever to transfer the footage. I always much preferred Samsung's image processing. In our previous camera comparisons, the iPhone 13 Pro Max consistently blew out the highlights, whereas the S21 Ultras was almost perfect every single time. The second module is the ultra-wide, which is actually very similar on both, and you honestly cannot go wrong with either of them. The third module is the telephoto. The iPhone features a 3x optical zoom module, whereas the S22 Ultra features 2 modules, a 3x and also a 10x module. I did find the 3x to be slightly better on the iPhone when compared to the S21 Ultra. This is still likely to be the case, as the sensor did actually get a bit smaller compared to the S21 Ultra. That 10x module, however, is really the main reason to go for the S22 Ultra. I've taken some incredible photos in the past that I could not have taken otherwise. Plus, you can zoom in up to 100 times digitally compared to just 15 times on the iPhone. I was able to use it to read signs from afar. Samsung also offers an app called Expert RAW, which gives you the ability to shoot 16-bit RAW photos, as well as adjust any camera settings that you want. Whereas with the iPhone, you have to purchase a third-party app to be able to do that, and you can only shoot up to a maximum of 12-bit RAW. Samsung also offers you a lot more camera modes, including a new auto-framing one, as well as night portrait and stage lighting for pets. When it comes to the front camera, the main difference here is once again the resolution, with Samsung's 40 megapixel compared to the iPhone's 12. Between the iPhone 13 Pro Max and the S21 Ultra, I did actually prefer the quality of the Samsung, not necessarily because of the extra sharpness, but because of the more natural color processing. The iPhone was almost always too warm. In summary, if you mostly take photos, then definitely go with the S22 Ultra for that 10x optical zoom and the 16-bit RAW images. But if you are mostly a video shooter, then do go with the iPhone, as ProRes is truly remarkable. Just make sure that you have enough storage on the iPhone for ProRes, and the baseline model cannot shoot ProRes 4K, by the way. You need the 256 model for that. The second thing to consider is the number of unique features that they both offer. The iPhone has Face ID, which I much prefer over an in-display fingerprint reader. We also get that LiDAR module on the back, which is great for AR apps like IKEA Place, as well as for accurately measuring objects or even mapping entire rooms in 3D. And if you have a MacBook or any other Apple product, the integration with them is just incredible. Like, you can copy something on your iPhone and directly paste it on your Mac, or automatically get text messages sent to your Mac, as well as continue reading an article from your iPhone onto your Mac, and much more. You also get a much better water resistance on the iPhone, up to 6 meters of depth compared to just 1.5. But the S22 Ultra offers you so much more, from the built-in S Pen that allows you to take notes, control presentations, or even control your camera, to the always-on display, to the ability to connect it to a monitor and literally turn it into a desktop computer with DeX. The S22 is the one to get if you care about features. Like, honestly, there's no other phone on the planet right now with more features than the S22 Ultra. So if you're a true tech enthusiast and you care about customizing your phone or even overclocking it, This is all doable with the S22 Ultra. But if you don't care about features and you simply want your phone to work, then usability is the third most important thing to consider. This includes how easy it is to use in your hand, how the day-to-day performance is, and also the usability of the display outdoors. In terms of using them in my hands, even though the S22 Ultra is wider and also taller by quite a bit, it honestly feels much more comfortable in my hands. Just because of that more rounded frame. And because Samsung's One UI was designed to be used with one hand, a lot of the gestures and actions are actually usable without even me having to touch the second half of the screen. In terms of day-to-day performance on paper, the iPhone is much more powerful. So if you edit videos or you play a lot of high-end games, the iPhone 13 Pro might give you an advantage. However, for my day-to-day use of the S21 Ultra, which was weaker than the S22 Ultra, I haven't really noticed any slowdowns whatsoever, and this is the Excellence model, by the way. In fact, since Samsung phones support true side-by-side multitasking, which the iPhone does not, in combination with that S Pen, the S22 Ultra will be the best phone for productivity work, aside from the Z Fold 3, of course. Not only that, but outdoor usage is also better on the S22 Ultra, which can not only go to a higher maximum brightness of 1750 nits, compared to 1200 on the iPhone, but it can also use AI to artificially increase the visibility of your screen even further by increasing the contrast and the saturation. All this makes the S22 Ultra a far more usable device than the iPhone. And keep in mind that this is coming from someone who's been using an iPhone daily for the past 14 years. This was my first iPhone, the iPhone 3G. The fourth thing to consider is the battery life. And on paper, the S22 Ultra looks like the winner here, as not only does it have a larger 5000 mAh battery compared to 4352, but it also has faster charging, up to 50% in just 20 minutes compared to 30 minutes. The Ultra also supports reverse wireless charging for headphones, your watch, or even charging another phone. On top of this, it can also adjust its refresh rate from 120Hz to just 1 Hz. The iPhone can only go to as low as 10 Hz. This, combined with the more efficient 4nm chip, should give Samsung the upper edge when it comes to the battery life, but keep in mind that this is just on paper. The iPhone 13 Pro Max has been well known for having the longest battery life on a smartphone yet, so it might even be the case that this is still the case, due to how efficient iOS is. If you want to see our super detailed in-depth battery video, like our previous one, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon. And lastly, with everything that each phone has to offer, which one is more worth it? Well, the iPhone 13 Pro Max starts from $1,100, and this is for the base 128GB of storage. The S22 Ultra is a tiny bit more expensive at $1,200 for the same storage. But considering that you get the S Pen, the 10x optical zoom, true side-by-side multitasking, faster charging, and always-on display, and all the other extra features, I honestly think that the S22 Ultra is indeed worth $100 more. I also like the fact that Samsung is offering you 7 colors to choose from, while Apple is only offering you 4. I'm a big fan of the Phantom Black and the Graphite S22 Ultra. But yeah, which one would you pick and why? Let us know in the comments, and check out our videos on the Tab S8 Ultra and our S22 Buyer's Guide video. I'm Daniel, this has been Zone of Tech, and definitely subscribe for more S22 content. Zone of Tech, signing out. Cheers.